What is up, y'all? Here we go again. So this is my first podcast in over 24 hours, and I was on a 10-day streak in which I was at one point I was doing two a day or multiple or more than two, and but definitely one every 24 hours for sure. So yesterday I had an interview, so I missed my normal time. I had put it into my schedule to get up at 5 a.m., the time I should be getting up, and then get my morning routine done super early so that way I could still get to the podcast. But I really wanted to be early for the interview, and if I had done the podcast, I would have had to rush, and I don't like rushing. Um, Calm is contagious. When you move in a calm manner, your nervous system calms down. Those around you calm down. People feed off your calm energy. So, and most importantly, you feed off your own calmness. So, I never want to rush anywhere. So, I I did end up getting there to my interview an hour early, which is great. And I did get my whole morning routine done before my interview, which was fantastic. Just coming to peace and surrender after my workout, or the workout was a part of it, and getting into my meditation and just feeling so much gratitude for all that I have, and really just coming fully into that present moment and acknowledging that it doesn't matter what happens for the rest of the day. I had this moment, and every day coming back to that multiple times. Like, I'm on the right path because I keep having these moments of deep tranquility, serenity, and peace of mind. Peace of mind is the number one coveted thing on this planet for humans, anyway, and I have it. So I have tremendous gratitude and reverence for that. And with that being said, let's get into a new breathwork tool. So I recommend sitting. Doesn't have to be, you can be cross-legged, you could sit with one leg out, whatever is comfortable to you. Having your spine upright. You can close your eyes, you can have your eyes open, whatever you prefer. I recommend eyes closed. And let's begin. Exhaling completely through your nose. Breathing in through your nose. Out through your nose. In through your nose. Long exhale through your nose. Long inhale through your nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Long exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Hold at the bottom of the breath. Long inhale through the nose. Hold at the top of the breath. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Hold at the top of the breath. Exhale through the nose. Inhaling through the mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. Exhale through the mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. Inhale through the mouth as if through a straw. Full exhale through the mouth through a straw. Keep going in the same manner. Really filling your lungs up on the inhale. Exhale through the mouth normally. Inhale through the mouth through a straw. Hold at the top of the breath. Exhale through the mouth through a straw. Return to your normal breathing through your nose. Full exhale through the nose. Full inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the nose. Full inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the nose. Full inhale through the nose. Hold at the top of the breath. Exhale through the nose. Return to your natural breath. Allowing the body-mind to relax. Allowing the body to do any type of stretch or self-massage. You can remain with your eyes closed or gently blink your eyes open whenever you're ready. breathing through the mouth as if breathing through a straw trains your lungs, calms your nervous system. Your nervous system calms because it knows that if it can fully inhale and fully exhale, then it is safe. Your mental physical state mirrors your breath. So if you're feeling anxious in particular, it predominantly means that you're taking shallow breaths through the nose or through the mouth. Those shallow breaths tell your body that you're in fight or flight mode. There is an action or an activity that needs to be done in which you need energy for it. That excess energy is what we call anxiety. Now, that can be very helpful if you have something you need to do that you need a lot of energy for in the immediate moment. However, what we have gotten caught in is a anxiety matched to thought game. So often we're thinking about the future or maybe even dreading the past, but often anxiety is correlated with future events. So your body gives you energy to deal with that event because the mind does not know whether that event is happening now or in the future. It cannot make that distinction. So it's giving you energy to deal with whatever that is now. But you may not need that energy now. It's a future event. Therefore, you end up feeling this feeling of overwhelmed with energy. So these are tools that you can go to. You don't have to go into an extensive breath work as we just did. You can just take 3 breaths. Again, 1 is a lot more than 0, but 3 breaths in particular calms the autonomic nervous system, lowers your arousal rate. 3 full breaths in. Could be through the nose, through the mouth. I recommend the nose. Maybe exhaling first, releasing all the oxygen out, and then inhaling fully. That can really help you at any moment throughout the day. Something you can do while doing anything else. It's not something that you have to pause and sit down and close your eyes for. However, if you pair that with sitting down, closing your eyes, upright posture, that is you're giving yourself the best chance for increased electrical activity or energy or just the feeling of bliss or euphoria, or you're giving yourself the chance to have a more positive experience. That is just labeling the chemical reaction happening inside of our body. So you're giving yourself a chance to feel more of the happy chemicals, happy drugs inside yourself. So I'm going to get into different breathwork techniques as we go along. I'm going to touch on DMT breathwork and the Wim Hof method. Those are very popular. Maybe you have heard of them. I wanted to start with the alternate nostril breathing, just breathing fully in through your nose, the what is called seal breathing. because seal breathing through the mouth, like as if through a straw, because you will see in maybe you've seen movies in which Navy SEALs are breathing through a straw or a similar device in which you have to control your breath. You breathe literally through a straw. So, again, disclaimer, with any of these breath works that you're going to get very serious into it, you should be sitting down in a comfortable and safe space, maybe laying down. That's not the You're not giving yourself the highest possibility for electricity to run through your spine. You need an elongated spine for that, sitting up. However, laying down would be safe, just being in a safe environment. And that is particularly true with the DMT and Wim Hof methods. You can feel lightheaded. You can pass out rather suddenly. Most people are not going to be advanced enough, really. The pass out is kind of an advanced thing. You have to be able to hold your breath and override the feeling of passing out in order for that to be possible. So, shouldn't have to worry about that, but still take all the safety precautions that you can. Don't do what I have done because I'm an extremist and I always want to see what tools could I use if I was in a real life or death type situation in which I needed to calm myself down. So I've been doing DMT breathwork, Wim Hof method for over 3 years. And in the beginning, when I was so fascinated with it and I thought I had extreme control, I would take it with me out into the world. If I was walking, maybe if I was running, maybe in a cold ocean. Don't do those things. You can pass out and you can really hurt yourself. So I've done it, so you don't have to do it. I didn't hurt myself, I didn't pass out, but I came close enough to know that I shouldn't be doing that while doing any activity. So that is something we will get into in an upcoming episode. Something I wanted to talk about is, I don't know if you guys have heard of Dr. Shawn Stevenson. This dude is just fantastic. He is so on it. He's such a good, he's such a person who is within the culture. He's not speaking from outside of the culture. And he is extremely relatable. He has a crazy and fascinating story. If you don't know him, look him up, listen to his podcast, listen to some interviews that he's done. He's been in a lot of places, and his message is a great one. So check him out. But one thing that I heard him talking about recently is when he was in college, he was obsessed with baseball. He didn't even play baseball. But he loved baseball. He loved baseball his whole life. He was always watching baseball. And when he was in college, he would do his homework and he would be watching, he'd have the games on. So he would watch the pre-game, during the game, the post-game, listen to people talk about the game, and then watch another game while he's doing his homework. So that would be constant glancing back and forth, switching his attention from his work to the game, back and forth. Your attention really is never on either thing because it's just the way that the brain works. You cannot multitask. It is not possible. You can do two things at once, but it's not really you're doing them at once. You're constantly switching back and forth. So it is a very ineffective way of being. So after a while, he realized, what am I doing? Why am I watching whatever it was, 5, 6 hours of baseball and baseball talk a day when really I'm watching others be great? They're performing at the highest level. They're being great. He's watching others be great instead of being great himself. And as the new football season is upon us, I know that my life is much better. I love sports. I really, really do. I love playing. I love watching. I love talking about it. I know my life is much better without it when I don't pay any attention to it, when I'm focused on myself and what's going on in my life and what's important to me. And I guess that means I have a great life, because if I didn't, then I would be really into that specific distraction. And I think as distractions go, sports is one of the best. But I'm just, I'm really, it's been something that's been happening over years, but I'm really done with it. I'm done with giving my energy to something that's not giving me anything back. And maybe this is particularly because I just, well, not finished, but we're in the end of a Yankee season in which they are in last place. I mean, these dudes stink. So maybe that helps. But I would say, even in college, I was not paying attention to, well, I really understood undistractable attention. I didn't have a name for it then, but I knew that, especially from watching others work, but just for me, myself, if I was doing my work, I'm doing my work because I want to get it done so I can move on with my life. So whatever it took, I would always get into flow. And I didn't even know it was flow. But what flow is, I've talked about this before, but you have to get into flow. It's not something that just happens. The first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, you're putting in effort. And it really has to feel like your skills are kind of matched, where you're learning and you're processing at a speed that is above what you're capable of. And therefore you start to focus and everything narrows in. And that effort has to feel good. You have to feel like you're making progress. And that's when flow kicks in. And when you get into flow, you can do in 1 hour what someone else can do in 8 hours. You can do in one day what someone else would take a week to do, because you are harnessing a certain energy within yourself that others are not. And in order to get into flow, you have to pay undistractable attention. It has to be a meditation, a focus, a discipline. And upon watching the way that my peers were doing homework and studying, I knew that wasn't for me. I think it was really, truly amazing. I still think it's really, truly amazing how people say that they're busy, or they're so hectic, they got so much going on, they're working so hard. Because I heard these things from my peers in college. And if I ever sat at a table with them and watched them study, they'd have their phone in their hands, they'd have social media open, they'd have their computer in front of them, they'd be scrolling, looking at, opening different tabs, looking at a bunch of different things that were not school related. They'd be sitting in a group with 6 other people talking about how hard the work is or different classes or just life in general. They have their work in front of them and they'd be doing mostly just staring at it, maybe doing one problem every 10 minutes. And they would do this for hours on end, going from the phone to the computer to the problem to the conversation, back to the problem, back to the conversation, to the phone, to the. This is not studying. This is not doing your work. This is bullshitting. That's cool. You want to bullshit? That's fine. But don't tell me that, oh, you did 6 hours of homework last night. No, you didn't. You did 1 hour of homework over the course of 6 hours because you were just all over the place. And I never did that. I mean, like I would sit in a study group maybe if I just had friends in the group and I was open to bullshitting for that time because I knew that's what it was. If I want to get my work done, I'm in the corner of the library where nobody can see me and bother me and distract me and take me out of what I'm doing. I have my headphones on, just showing more that I am not here to fuck around. I'm listening to Maybe I'm listening to a meditation if I'm really serious, but maybe I'm listening to, by meditation, I mean like meditation music or binaural beats, something like that. But I love music, so I'll be listening to music a lot, and or I just be in silence. And people do not deal with silence well. People do not understand its value. In silence, there is wisdom. You can hear yourself think clearly in silence, in solitude. And that really just freaks people out. Being alone, seeing other people who are alone, it makes them so uncomfortable. And that's where my best work is done because I know how to get into flow state. And I can get into flow state pretty much on command if no one else is around. So that's just something to think about, something to maybe to use, and having non-negotiables. I just got into something, really I hear the same things over and over again over the course of time, but sometimes someone puts a little different spin on it or a different name on it, and it gets through to me a little more. So something I just started doing is having 4 quarters in a day. Quarter one is from whenever you wake up to 4 hours later. And then you have 4 hour increments throughout the day. For me right now, it's from 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 6, 6 to 10. And breaking down and writing down, putting a checklist or checklist is really good because you get a little dopamine hits from checking things off your list. So having whatever you're going to do quarter one, best thing to do quarter one is whatever you don't want to do, whatever is of the most theoretical suffering, whatever is going to take the most amount of effort, and really until noon, that would be the best. That's the best time to use effort. Do whatever it is that you've been procrastinating, whatever it is that's going to take the most energy and effort out of you. And especially when we talk about exercise and maybe burning fat, burning brown fat in particular, which is the hardest to burn, the best time to do it is as soon as you wake up. Fasted cardio, and maybe you want to do ab work, maybe you just want to go for a little run, even a walk, high intensity interval, even if it's just one exercise, even if it's just 3 sets of 10 with one exercise, whatever that exercise may be. Maybe you can get yourself to break a sweat, getting into that brown fat first thing in the morning. It's really the only time that, unless you're really pushing like crazy, it's really the only time that that brown fat is accessible to be burnt. So maybe most people have a problem with carrying a lot of fat in their lower abdomen, and that is completely natural. And really, we got to reframe fat, because fat is actually a good thing, and fat is actually good for you. And being a person who can hold fat is a good thing. You should know that you can hold fat, that it's good to know. And you shouldn't have it. You should not any. You should have the least amount that you can get to that makes you feel comfortable, let's say. And really, that is just because as you come to homeostasis or balance, equilibrium in your body, then fat will shed. Being overweight is actually way less dangerous than being underweight. That's something I really just found out recently. Like, there's a lot of people who just cannot put on weight, and that is extremely dangerous for them. So again, evolutionarily, being able to hold fat is, I mean, maybe that's why there's such an epidemic right now of people holding fat, because their ancestors were ones who were able to hold fat better than others. You needed that fat in order to survive for days at a time, maybe even weeks without eating. So that is extremely important. And we're going to get into some case studies soon where I'll show the data on these different things, and really break it down and allow you to see it for yourself. I know most people don't really care about seeing it for themselves. They rather just hear it from someone, and they don't want to research it themselves. But I'm going to show you anyway. I really like looking at it, and for whoever wants to see it, we will go through it. So thank you all for listening. Again, if you made it to this point, wow, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I know there's so much content out there that you can be looking at. So thank you for spending this time with me. Please like, subscribe. More importantly, please comment. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to open up a conversation, and I want to know who's watching. So thank you so much. Have a great day.